Today we will be making Shamrock Cookies. You guys asked for these and here they are. Let's begin. For the cookie, I use one of my own cookie dough recipes that I've already pre-made. So what I did was put 2 parchment papers, or one on top and one on the bottom, and just rolled it out. I find that it was so much easier to do this. And once the cookie is as thick as you want it or as thin as you want it, remove the parchment paper. Then grab your cookie cutter and you're going to cut the cookies using the cookie cutter, like so. Once you're finished, remove the extra pieces that you're not using because you can use that to make more shamrock shaped cookies. Here's a little tip: if the cookie dough becomes a little bit hard to handle, just place the cookie dough back into the refrigerator for about 20 minutes and then you can start using it again. Then you're going to bake it for 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 12 minutes. Ta-da! Cookies became not shamrock cookies, it just became huge globs. I always forget this happens whenever I bake these kind of cookies. But instead of throwing it out or just giving up, I decided to just take my cookie cutter, slice it, and still make the shamrock cookies. Now these cookies have been sitting out for about 10 minutes, so I was still able to use it and make the shamrock cookies. Let's take the moment to talk about this cookie icing. This is by far one of the best I've ever used, at least the pre-made package ones. The packaging made it so easily to squeeze out the icing, and I was able to control it so much better than the others I've tried. Then I took some light green sprinkles and placed it on top of the icing before it hardened. And that's it. Thanks everyone who requested these cookies, and thank you for sending me pictures. Here they are. I love seeing all your beautiful creations, and I'm so happy that you share them with me. So if any of you have remade or made any of the recipes that I've shared with you guys, I would totally love to see it. Please Instagram me, tweet me, or Facebook me pictures. I would love to see them. Hi guys, it's Lainey, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make Lucky Charms cheesecake. Thank you so much for asking me to make a St. Patrick's Day dessert. Here it is, and let's begin. So you're going to take the cereal and you're going to add it to your food processor. Now my food processor wasn't working, I was missing a piece, so I had to use my blender, which you can just pulse it until it is nice and crumbly. Then add the butter and continue mixing. So once everything is mixed in, you're going to add the cereal crumbs into the pie pan and you're going to press it down. I know it doesn't look like it's going to fit in the pan, but it will. Just press down. So once you're done, set the pie pan aside and we're going to make the filling. So what you're going to do is you're going to add the softened cream cheese, and then I mixed it with my handheld mixer. Then I added the Cool Whip or the whipping cream and the marshmallow fluff. And don't forget guys, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so you can get all of my latest recipes. So once everything is mixed in, you're going to add the filling into the pie pan. So then take your spatula and you're going to spread it around the pie pan until everything's covered. And to get the complete recipe, head over to my blog, SimplyBakings.com. Next, take the marshmallows and you're going to decorate it however you would like. I actually just put it around the sides, and then this part is optional. You can actually add green sprinkles or you can keep it as is. So if you're going to be eating this immediately, just place this in the freezer for about 30 minutes to an hour so it could harden up, or you can place it in the refrigerator overnight and eat it the next day. So if you're a huge fan of cheesecake, you're going to love this. It's not on the sweet side. The sweets actually comes out from the marshmallows that is on top of the cheesecake. I got a few questions. One of them was from Cynthia, and she asked, how does the consistency of the cookie dough, how wet or dry it is, affect the texture of the finished cookie? Personally, I think it does affect it a lot. Like my last video, the batter was really wet, so the cookies spread out a lot. Whereas when I made cookies that were a little bit on the dry side, it didn't spread out as much and the cookies were a lot more fluffy. Such a great question, Cynthia. Please let me know guys if you have any more questions by writing them in the comment section. If you guys do try this, let me know. Tell me in the comments how it turned out for you. Thank you so much for watching and happy baking! Can you guess what I made? By popular demand, I made green tea cookies. Let's begin. In a large bowl, you're going to add softened butter, granulated sugar, and brown sugar. Then take your handheld mixer and you're going to mix it until it is light and fluffy. So I really enjoy reading your comments, and Gamer Girl asks, am I the only one who watches but never bakes? Gamer girl, you're not alone. I'm one of them, and so are 5 others. So once you're done mixing, you're going to add the vanilla extract and the eggs, and you're going to continue mixing. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you can get all of my latest recipes. So once everything is well incorporated, you're going to set this bowl aside and grab another bowl, and in this bowl I already have all-purpose flour. I'm going to add some salt and baking soda. Then I added some tea latte. Now there are different kinds of green teas. You need to get the one that is specifically used for baking. I will list it in the description box. Also, I will post a picture on my blog as well. So now you're going to mix all the dry ingredients. And once you're done mixing, you're going to add the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. And to get the complete recipe, head over to my blog, SimplyBakings.com. So this cookie dough is more sticky, and that's okay. That is exactly how this cookie dough should be. What you're going to do next, if you want to, you could add some green food coloring to give it more of a greener tint. This part's optional. If you would like to add white chocolate chips, you can. The cookies will be a lot sweeter. If you just like plain green tea, then just omit the white chocolate chips. Next, I grabbed my cookie scooper and I scooped out some cookie dough and placed it onto my cookie sheet. And since this cookie dough was a little bit on the wet side, it's a lot easier to use a cookie scooper, or you can use your tablespoons or spoons. Bake the cookies at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 9 to 11 minutes. Once you remove it from the oven, leave it on the pan for about 2 minutes and then transfer it onto a cookie rack. So physical looks, these cookies do not look like green tea. However, when you smell it, it smells so good. It smells like green tea. I personally liked it without the white chocolate chips. However, if you like chocolate, go ahead and add the white chocolate chips. And you might have noticed that these cookies are more on the thin side. Even though these cookies are thin, you might think they're crispy, but no, they're actually really soft and chewy. They're really good. Happy baking! Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make avocado ice candy. In other countries, avocados are used for a savory dish, but in the Philippines, we mainly use it for sweet dishes. Personally, I thought avocados were only used for desserts. It's only when I got to high school that I discovered that avocados can be used for savory dishes as well. So growing up, I ate avocados many different ways. I'm going to share with you 3 ways how I ate avocados. Let's begin. The first thing you need to do is cut your avocados and remove the seed. Some days I would eat avocados with sugar. Now I put a lot of sugar on the plate. I usually don't eat that much. I probably use 1 teaspoon for a whole avocado, and then I would sprinkle the brown sugar over the avocados and eat it. Another way I would eat avocados was drizzle sweetened condensed milk over the avocado. And if I wanted more sweetened condensed milk, I would just keep adding more as I was eating it. This way was my favorite way to eat avocados. If you don't have a blender, just put everything into the bowl and then add your sweetened condensed milk. I added a 1/4 cup of sweetened condensed milk, but if you want your avocado ice candy to be sweeter, go ahead and add 1/2 cup. Then you're going to add 1 tablespoon of water, and then you're going to mix it. But if you have a blender, go ahead and dump everything into the blender and you're going to blend for 1 minute or until everything is mixed in. So when my grandma made ice candies for my brother and sister and I, she would put it in ice cube trays. But I don't have an ice cube tray because I have an ice maker, so I found the next best thing, which is my mini muffin pans. And then you're just going to put the avocado into the mini muffin pans. Notice the avocados have peaks or holes in them. If you're going to leave it that way, that's how it's going to look like when you freeze it. If you want it to look nicer, smooth it out with a spoon. So the next step is to freeze the avocado ice candy. So what I did was wrap it in foil so it doesn't get anything in it or freezer burns. I froze it overnight, but I checked 4 hours after I put it in the freezer and it was pretty solid. So if you use a smaller container for the ice candy, it would only probably take 4 hours. But if you use a larger container, it would take overnight to freeze. So the next morning I took out the avocados from the freezer and this is how it looks like. So how I removed the avocados from the mini muffin pan was I dipped it in water for about 5 seconds. That actually was a little bit too long, probably 3 seconds is good enough. And then I just took a fork and look how easy it was to remove. And that's it guys, a great treat to eat when it's hot. How do you eat your avocados? Let me know in the comment box. Thanks for watching. Bye! Today, I will be sharing with you how to make mint chocolate chunk cookies. And thank you guys so much for helping me decide what kind of cookies I will be making today. So let's begin. In a large bowl, add half a cup of unsalted butter, which is softened. Add half a cup of granulated sugar and 3/4 cups of brown sugar. Take your handheld mixer and you're going to mix everything until it is light and fluffy. Once the sugars are all mixed in, add the vanilla extract and the eggs and continue mixing. To get the complete recipe, head over to my blog, SimplyBakings.com. Once all the liquids are mixed in, you're going to set this bowl aside and then grab another bowl and we're going to add all the dry ingredients into it. So add all-purpose flour, unsweetened cocoa powder, salt, baking soda, and baking powder. And then take your whisk and you're going to mix it until everything is mixed in very well. So grab the dry ingredients and you're going to add half of it and then you're going to mix it and then add the rest of it and mix it until everything is well combined. Now you might have to use your hands when mixing in the dry ingredients, so just set the handheld mixer aside and use your hands to mix everything until you see no flour. Next, add the mint chips. Then I added chocolate chips and a few pieces of chocolate chunks, and I mixed it with my hands. Then I grabbed my handy dandy cookie scooper and scooped cookies onto my cookie sheet. These cookies were about 1 inch in size, and I baked it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 12 minutes. Transfer the cookies onto a cookie rack to continue cooling it. And guys, take your first bite of these cookies, especially when it's fresh out of the oven, because it's so delicious. If you're just a big fan of mint, these cookies are just for you. I always get this question on most of my videos that I post. Baking with Lindsay asks, I was wondering what camera you use and how you edit your videos. Well, Lindsay, I film with a Canon Rebel T4i and I edit my videos on Final Cut Pro 10. And then I put all the clips together, and whenever I watch instructional videos, I put it the way how I would like to see these videos. Thank you for your question, Lindsay. That is one of the most popular questions that I get here on Simply Bakings. I really appreciate all the questions that you guys have been asking. Please let me know if you have any questions by placing them in the comment section.